Today we're going to be fitting a second-hand power steering rack to a VT Commodore. The VT Series 2 and the VY steering rack are the same, the VU and the VX as well. They did change them a bit on the VZ. So I've got a steering rack, it's from a VY. We're going to put it into the VT Series 2. We're going to cut out all the fluff on this video, so I'll get to it. Look at this. This is how bad it is. The car's been in here for 5 seconds and there's already power steering oil on the ground. You should see the driveway. And if you're wondering what all the cardboard pieces are around on the floor, I've got a dog who has a cardboard fetish and he comes in here and he makes a bloody mess. But he's good company. We're going to go and get a bit of a head start on this thing with by just spraying some WD-40 into all the bolts that I'm about to undo. Some of them probably haven't been undone in 20 odd years. So, however, there is enough oil underneath this car that I probably don't need this, but I do it anyway. Righto. Ooh. That's the fanciest can of WD-40 I've ever seen. Completely unnecessary. Fuck. Everything's a 19 on a Commodore. So we're undoing these tie rod ends here. These ones have got a nylock nut on it. I'm used to seeing the castle style nut with the split pin through it. But anyway, we'll run with what we've got. So we're going to loosen it and then we're going to put it back on and we're going to hit the side here with a hammer. So you put the nut on just to protect that thread in case you're a bit of a shit shot with a hammer. Righto. Righto. I'm puffed, but I got it. I had to do that off camera, that's for sure. So that's loose now. That joint, that's what we need. You can see where it's had a few blows from the hammer. Done. And that nut will still do up. It was there. It protected the thread the whole time, so the aim of the game is not to hit it, of course. Okay. So we'll straighten the wheels up. We can leave that light up for a bit. Check out this light, magnetic light. Just click her up there. What a ripper. In through the driver's wheel arch. Follow this rack back. There's the two power steering lines just there. 1, 2. You need to get into there. It's going to be a little bit shit, but at the same time, I'm glad I can just access it through the wheel arch and not try and bend in through that power steering rack. It's hard to get a good video of that. Sorry, really, really sorry. Just there. Alright. Okay, that's one undone. There's two. That was a 16mm. If you can get your pipes spanners onto them, you're doing well. I just used a normal open ender because I couldn't get the correct angle that I needed. However, it wasn't overly tight. A little bit of a shunt and it came straight undone. There's one more behind that, but I'm just going to let the oil drain so we don't get too much of a mess. Okay, so this first one came out really easy, and then I had trouble getting to this back one, which is a different size. It turned out to be a 19mm. So there's another power steering line still in there. I've just loosened it, that one there. Now, what I did have to do was take out this power steering bracket mounting bolt, and I just gave it a little leverage, and it actually improved the amount of space that was in there for me to get my fat hands and spanners. That was a game changer. After taking that bolt out there, the driver's side power steering rack mounting bolt, it increased the amount of room by double. It was game changer. Do that. Okay. We're underneath the car now, and that bolt just there, it's a little 13mm bolt, undoes the steering shaft from inside the cabin. So that's the last bolt we've got to do on this side, and then I've just got the one bolt holding the power steering rack in on the passenger side, or the left hand side. So I'll get to it. That's a 13mm. I'll undo it. One thing to make sure of is that you've got the steering lock engaged on the inside of the car in the cabin, because you don't want to be able to spin this shaft or turn the steering wheel inside without a steering rack in it. You can do some damage to your clock spring and stuff like that. So, okay, here we go. The rack is out. I'm just going to make sure they're both the same, line them up next to each other there, and we'll be away, I think. We'll chuck that in ASAP. I do have a broken boot here on the rack end, so I need to take that tie rod end off. But what I'll do is I'll get the rack up in there, because that's quite an easy job. It's very easy to get to from in the car. I'll just keep my eye on the prize and get this steering working again first, and then before it goes in for a wheel alignment, we will put the boot on it. Might even throw it a couple of new tie rod ends. They're cheap and it's just steering. We won't muck around with it. Underneath that car is fucking filthy. That's years of leaking oils under there. So I can't wait to take this one to the car wash. While all the power steering fluid and everything's out, got a new reservoir. This one here is just a little bit loose on top, and I'm trying to eliminate every leak I can. So that's cheap. And one of the hoses, it does appear that the clamp has been done up in such a way where it has damaged the hose. It was a little bit wet around there. I don't think it is leaking at the moment, but it definitely has done at some stage there. So new hose, new reservoir, let's go. And just when you thought everything was going well, I was editing the footage of yesterday of putting the power steering rack in, and found that the whole entire last section had no audio. And I was completely unaware. So we're going again, just this last little bit. The wagon, when we got the rack back in, it all went well. There was a couple of hiccups along the way. Closer inspection of the previous rack had a helicoil into the high pressure line spot. So, and a lot of the O-ring was very, very squashed and very, very damaged. So I managed to find an O-ring in the toolbox, and it seems to be holding oil, and I've taken it for a drive. It's been at operating temperature a couple of times, and it's not leaking, which is bloody fantastic, and it's holding all its oil, not bubbling oil, no air in the lines. It's great. I'm happy with that. Went and picked up a steering wheel today for the Black SS, and I've got a new clock spring, so that'll be the next one we do. I've been waiting for this steering wheel for a long time, so it's here, thankfully. That'll be the next one. Anyway, I'll catch you next time. Thanks very much. Give it a like. Have a good day.